and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that is looking to turn 39 into 35. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 39, Battle for a New Champion, and let me tell you right now, I'm ready for the hurricane that is this season. All right, no more dodgeball references, but let's start off how this episode starts off, and that is everybody waking up in the arena. It looks like it's wet. Everybody slept on cots. Nobody had a good night's sleep except for TJ, who finally shows up to the arena, tells everybody to get in their challenge gear, and meet him in the field for the first challenge of the season. Now, when everybody is finally lined up in the field, this is when TJ just dumps a ton of information on them about this game. He tells them that there is only going to be only one winner to this season. Since it is Battle for a New Champion, singular, the prize money is $300,000, which is a far cry from the million we have gotten since season 30, Dirty 30. But TJ tells them, well, hold your horses because there are chances that you will have to bump up this prize money. TJ also tells them that there are 3 levels to this season. Level 1, Control, he describes as the ability to earn money to the prize pot. Level 2, Chaos, he describes as them needing to protect the money that they have in their prize fund. And level 3 is Conquest, which they can still earn money, but also in that level, there will be crowned a new challenge champion. They are in level 1, Control, where TJ tells them they'll be working in one giant team. We have never seen this happen on the challenge prior to this season. This adds a new element to the game that we've never seen before. Now, some of these elements harken back to the old challenge days, like the prize fund being $300,000. And even though only one person will be crowned a challenge champion, TJ will still reward second and third place. And man, I am so happy about that. I'm so happy that even if we get only one winner, second and third place will get money to where whoever wins doesn't feel obligated to have to give some of their prize fund to second and third place. Now it's time to get to the first daily challenge of the season called Hole Control, which is a challenge I do personally after I have Taco Bell. But in this challenge, everybody will be working in one giant team. They have to run into a mud pit, have to get all the puzzle pole pieces out of the pit, and get all 24 contestants out of the mud pit, correctly solve a pole puzzle. To add $50,000 to the prize fund, they have to do all of that in 10 minutes. At first glance, when I heard the rules, I thought this is so simple. They're going to be able to do this pretty easily. And then once the challenge actually started, I was like, oh, they wanted the first challenge to be simple on purpose so everybody can figure out that this is not going to work. The hole was very hard to get out of, especially the last few people. Kieran was the last person out of the hole because he took charge. He was in the military back in Australia, so he had a lot of experience with stuff like this. His whole goal in this challenge was just to get everybody out of the hole, which happened. He was the last person out with about a minute to 40 seconds to spare. This came down to the puzzle, and this is classic too many cooks in the kitchen. The strategy here, in my opinion, is that 2 people at most are the puzzle solvers. Maybe they have some help with moving all the puzzle pieces from somebody else, but they are the ones solving the puzzle. Also, they should have probably solved it on the ground before putting all the poles in the holes. All the poles were wet because it was raining there. They were all in the mud. Everybody was in the mud. So it was just wet, messy, and it was just a mess all around. Not to mention, some people were getting on other people's nerves, aka Berna was getting on a lot of people's nerves. This was a big mess. This whole challenge was either pass or fail, and no surprise, they fail it. They don't add $50,000 to the prize fund, and TJ says, but at least you get to sleep in a mansion tonight with beds. As everybody got in the bus, got to the challenge house, which is exactly the Challenge USA 2 house, and everybody was loving it. Everybody's popping champagne, having a good time. We saw Big T doing the toast in the arena while Jay's doing the toast inside the house. Everybody was having fun talking, eating some charcuterie, having some champagne. Big T, on the other hand, is trying to take the reins in the house strategy-wise. Big T is trying to play the West role of this season. I mean, she has the most seasons under her belt out of everybody here, and she wants to win. And so she tries to play it off as if she doesn't have a master plan. Oh, but she does have a master plan, and her master plan is targeting the men. She doesn't want the women going down a person early to where they can easily be voted off one after another or voted into the elimination one after another just because the guys want to take control and think that more muscle is better, which can I say is exactly what the guys want to do. They're all together in what Johnny Bananas called the dungeon on the Challenge USA 2. We see them bringing up Big T, Melissa, and Berna's name, but mainly the guys want to vote in Big T, citing that she is weak, that she did not help the team at all, and possibly that they don't see her being a useful member of the team in later challenges. Which can I say adds to the feeling that this is like an old school challenge, all the men want you to vote in the women. But unlike the men, who are all on the same page it seems like, the women aren't. Big T wants to target a man, whereas the Challenge 38 alliance of Nerys, Raven, Olivia, Mariah, and Michelle are putting out feelers about Berna, Big T, and Melissa. Speaking of Berna, she is not having a good time whatsoever. I mentioned at the Daily Challenge, everybody found her annoying. Back at the challenge house, she wanted to roommate with Michelle, who got a different room with different roommates, didn't want to be in the room with Berna, or at least it seemed that way. At one point, Berna was trying to get in the room with Mariah, and Mariah lied about all the beds being taken because she didn't want to be in a room with Berna. Feeling like an outcast is really starting to sink into her, and it sucks because this is like night one. The game just begun, and Berna is already in her head. She's getting combative. People that are her friends who are trying to help her, like Michelle and Huey, where Huey is trying to give Berna some help and be there for her and give her some advice. Berna doesn't want to hear any of it. She is able to talk with Colleen because she is like a therapist. But when Colleen tries to give Berna some help and some advice, Berna shuts her down. I know that Berna is guarded. I know she's a strong person, but strong people can be vulnerable as well. Speaking of being vulnerable, we see a little spark happening between Michelle and Callum. We saw this happening in the arena during the launch special, but here we are in the house and it's just the two of them. Michelle is asking Callum, well, if you want to do this, I'm willing to do this, but I want to know, like, do you have somebody outside of the house? And Callum says, I definitely don't have a girlfriend, which then we jump to a confessional room where he's getting a phone call from back home, and Callum indeed has a girlfriend. He says, I love you like 5 times when hanging up the phone with her. So we could throw out that, oh, it's not a relationship, I don't have a girlfriend, it's not that serious, to lie, and more lies. Callum is gonna be a little messy one, and he's gonna take Michelle down with him because it was kind of foreshadowed between Melissa and Big T's conversation with her that Melissa was like, be careful of getting in a relationship early because people can eye that and that can put a target on your back. Now we get back into the strategy talk, where Big T is trying to talk with the Challenge 38 Alliance about getting on the same page about voting a man into this week's elimination. And Olivia kind of shuts this down, saying that she heard Jessica talking about wanting to target strong women in the game. More specifically, she says in the confessional that she was told by Kyland that Kyland overheard Jessica talking to somebody and bringing up Olivia's name, which then Olivia's like, you say my name, I want to send you into the elimination. So Jessica now has a big target on her back. We have heard from Jessica throughout this episode that she brings up her stature, that she's starting to second guess herself. Did she help the team enough? Could she have done more? She's feeling paranoid about her own performance, and is she strong enough to be a part of the team, be a good team member? We get to the deliberations, and there's some back and forth, mainly from Callum and Nerys, going back and forth about who they should vote in. Should it be a men's day? Should it be a women's day? Nothing is getting resolved in this moment because everybody's going back and forth. We hear Kieran's name getting thrown out there a little bit because he was the leader, he stepped up, it was his plan, and they ultimately lost. Some other people believe that it's Big T and Melissa, who may have not contributed as much. We hear from Berna apologizing about her attitude the past couple of days and says that she will turn things around. And then we get Jessica, who, as I mentioned, was second-guessing herself about her abilities. We see her having this speech in the deliberation that makes no sense whatsoever. She's talking about how she's a long shot to win this game. She's most likely not going to win. She's going to be thrown in sooner rather than later. She just doesn't want to be the first one eliminated. She doesn't care about the money at all. She was going to give it to her mom and then the rest to charity. I don't necessarily know how much of hot water Jessica was in coming into this deliberation, but she was leaving this deliberation as the number one option for everybody to vote for. You're already the smallest. You're already second guessing yourself. You're not confident in your own abilities. You're saying that you're not going to be good in very many daily challenges. And then you're saying you don't care about the money. So people are going to look at you going, are you even trying? If you don't care about the money, why are you here? How can we trust you to go 110% in the daily challenges if you don't care about what we are fighting for here? It is a terrible speech, and it is the last thing we are left with by the time everybody's getting on their challenge gear, heading down to the arena to meet up for TJ for this week's elimination. And TJ just tells everybody that we're voting all out in the open. We're all gonna vote in front of everybody. Berna starts things off voting for Jessica. Jessica gets 23 votes. Now, you might be thinking that 24th vote might be Jessica's vote. Now, who did Jessica vote for? No, you are wrong. Jessica voted for herself. She said that she's going to vote for herself because she wants to take control in this game. And if she's going into the elimination, then she's going to vote for herself because she wants to have control over her own destiny. The only person to not vote for Jessica was Horacio, who voted for Big T. Jessica is voted into the elimination 23-1. She joins TJ on the arena floor, where then TJ says, you can pick any woman to face off against, and Jessica calls out Big T. So we have Jessica versus Big T in this week's elimination called Fallout. In this elimination, both players will be in cages that are levitated above the ground. They'll have to remove the tiles from the middle of their cage to show off the glass floor. Then they have to turn their attention over to pulling on a rope to then get the hammer over to their side, to then get the hammer, smash the bottom. The first player to free themselves from the cage wins. Jessica, who had a rough speech, who was not sounding confident in her own abilities, now tells us that she is afraid of heights and she has a phobia of heights, which is not a good sign for Jessica whatsoever. Like, Big T doesn't have the best elimination record, but my goodness, everything was going wrong for Jessica this whole episode. Everything was against her, even herself at one point. Big T, on the other hand, wants to show she's a fighter, and she wants to prove everybody that she is not the weak one in the house. And she does just that. This elimination, I would bet, was under 10 minutes. Big T was able to throw out all of the tiles really quickly as Jessica was taking her time. She was probably getting nervous every time she threw a tile to reveal the floor and how much they were hanging over the ground. Big T was going really quickly. She was able to get all the tiles out, grab the rope, bring it over. Jessica started pulling the rope, but it was way too late. Big T grabbed that hammer, smashed the bottom, and was declared the winner. Big T wins the first elimination of the challenge, season 39, and Jessica was eliminated. Sadly, Jessica did like a self-fulfilling prophecy on herself where she said, I don't want to be the first one eliminated, but in her stating that and also having that speech, it kind of condemned her to being the first eliminated from the game. And that is where this episode ends. Big T is super excited. Melissa is very excited. I'm sure all of Big T's alliance members, which is, I want to say, over half the house, is very excited she is back. Big T is happy to be back, but also now she is glaring at Horacio for targeting her and being the only person to say her name. Now she knows, I can't trust that man over there. She even said, I thought he was cute, but not anymore. Now that he said my name, I don't believe it. I mean, Horacio could send me into elimination and I would still find that man pretty dang cute. But anyways, that is it for the first episode of The Challenge, Season 39, Battle for a New Champion. What'd you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What'd you think about this first episode of the season? Was it gripping? Was it exciting? What'd you think about the daily challenge? What'd you think about the elimination? Do you think Jessica should have called out Big T? Do you think that speech Jessica did was the worst speech in challenge history? Tell me why or why not down in the comment section below. And would you like to see Jessica back on the challenge in the future? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. Also, let me know who you're rooting for, who are you rooting against, and who do you think is the competitor that can shock everybody in this game? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 39 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.